was at a charity gala when I heard my mother give the speech. I wasn't supposed to be there. I was in Chicago for a medical conference, and the gala was a last-minute addition to my schedule, a networking event for pharmaceutical executives. I'd bought a ticket on a whim, thinking it might be good for my career. I was standing near the bar when the MC introduced the keynote speaker. Please welcome Patricia Hurt, founder of Hurt Family Advocacy, here to talk about her work supporting women in STEM. My mother walked onto the stage. I froze, drink halfway to my lips. What was she doing here? She lived in Denver. She'd never mentioned coming to Chicago. And what was Hurt Family Advocacy? She began speaking, and my confusion turned to ice. 15 years ago, I founded this organization with one goal: to ensure that young women had the resources and mentorship they needed to succeed in science and technology fields, she said, her voice warm and confident. As a woman who built a career in biomedical research, I knew firsthand how difficult it could be. I set my drink down carefully before I dropped it. My mother never had a career in biomedical research. She was a part-time receptionist at a dental office. She'd worked there for 30 years. I had the career in biomedical research. I was a senior research scientist at a pharmaceutical company. I had patents, publications, a PhD from MIT. And she was standing on that stage, claiming it as her own. My daughter followed in my footsteps, she continued, smiling, and I like to think that the foundation I built, both literally and figuratively, made that possible for her. The audience applauded. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and started recording. The letter went out 3 days later. It demanded 1. Immediate removal of all false biographical information from the website. 2. Public correction acknowledging the misrepresentation. 3. Patricia Hurt's resignation as executive director. 4. Full financial accounting of all funds raised using false credentials. 5. Transfer of leadership to a qualified individual. If she didn't comply within 30 days, we'd file complaints with the IRS, the state attorney general, and the FBI. She called me 6 hours after her lawyer received it. "How could you do this to me?" She was crying. "I built this organization from nothing. I've helped so many girls." "With my credentials, Mom. You've been telling people you have my PhD, my research background, my career. That's fraud." "I never said I was you." "You used my exact biography, my degree, my university, my field of research. The only difference is you swapped your name for mine." "I had to. No one would listen to a receptionist, but they listened to a scientist. I was able to do so much good." "By lying. By borrowing your credibility. You weren't using it for this kind of work. You're locked away in your lab while girls out there need role models. So you stole my identity to become their role model. I gave you credit. The website mentions you as your daughter who followed in your footsteps. You positioned yourself as the pioneer and me as someone who only succeeded because of you." Silence. "Mom, you could have asked me to be involved, to lend my name legitimately, to actually work with the foundation. But you didn't. You just took what you wanted and built a career on a lie." "What do you want, Amanda?" "I want you to resign. I want the record corrected, and I want a full audit of where the money went." "You're going to destroy everything I built." "No, I'm going to save it, because right now it's built on fraud, and when the IRS finds out, and they will find out, it'll collapse anyway. This way, the programs can continue under honest leadership." She hung up. She didn't resign. Instead, she went public. She posted on the foundation's Facebook page a long, emotional statement about how her estranged daughter was trying to destroy her life's work, how I was jealous of her success, how I'd always been distant and cold, and now I was wielding my fancy degrees like a weapon to tear down a woman who dedicated her life to helping others. The comments were brutal. How dare she try to ruin her own mother? This is what happens when kids get too educated. They forget where they came from. Dr. Hurt has done so much good. This is heartbreaking. I read them all. Then I created a folder. In it, I put my actual MIT diploma, my PhD dissertation acknowledgments, which thanked my advisors, my funding sources, but not my mother. My first publication, from before the foundation existed, side-by-side comparisons of my bio and her bio, screenshots showing her claiming research I'd conducted, tax documents showing her $120K salary from a foundation built on false credentials. I sent it to 3 journalists who covered nonprofit accountability. 2 of them ran stories within a week. The headlines were devastating. Charity founder accused of falsifying credentials to raise millions. Woman allegedly uses daughter's PhD research career to build nonprofit empire. The stories laid it out clearly: the false bio, the stolen credentials, the money raised, my mother's response, calling me jealous and vindictive, followed by my documentation showing that every claim she made about her background was actually my background. One reporter interviewed one of my former MIT professors. He confirmed I'd earned my PhD, that my mother had never been enrolled, that the research she claimed was mine. The foundation's board called an emergency meeting. 3 members resigned immediately. The remaining 4 asked me to join a call. We had no idea, the board chair said. She sounded shaken. Patricia showed us her credentials when she founded the organization. We never thought to verify. What happens now? I asked. We're suspending all fundraising pending it. We've asked Patricia to step down. She's refused. Then vote her out. We're trying, but she's threatening to sue us for defamation. I took a breath. I'll testify. I'll provide any documentation you need, but you need to act fast because the Attorney General's office is already asking questions. They voted her out 3 days later. She sued them anyway, and me, for defamation, emotional distress, and tortious interference with business relations. Diana got the case dismissed in 4 months. The judge called it frivolous and awarded us attorney's fees. The foundation survived, barely. I was asked to join the board. I agreed with conditions. I'd serve as an advisor, not director. I'd help them find legitimate leadership, someone with real credentials in STEM education, and I'd work with them to rebuild donor trust. We issued a public statement acknowledging the misrepresentation and outlining our path forward. We returned donations to anyone who requested refunds. We restructured the programs. It took 2 years, but the foundation is stable now, smaller but honest, and actually doing good work. My mother and I haven't spoken since the lawsuit was dismissed. She moved to Arizona, started over, I assume. I don't check. But I do get emails sometimes from girls who received scholarships from the foundation, the real one, the honest one. They thank me for my work, for being a role model. I don't tell them that I almost let someone else steal credit for being that role model. I don't tell them how close I came to staying silent, to letting my mother keep her lie because confronting it felt too hard, too messy, too likely to make me look like the villain. But I'm glad I didn't stay silent. Because the truth matters. Credentials matter. The work we do, the degrees we earn, the years we sacrifice, they matter. And no one, not even formally, gets to steal that and call it love. So, here's my question for you.
If someone in your family was taking credit for your achievements, would you expose them publicly or handle it privately, even if it meant they kept lying?